The air hung thick and heavy, a suffocating blanket of damp earth and forgotten secrets. It clung to the rough-hewn walls of the wartime bunker, a silent testament to a fear long past, or perhaps merely dormant. Dust motes danced in the weak beam of my flashlight, each particle a tiny ghost swirling in the oppressive gloom. This place, it felt wrong. We were here because of a journal, unearthed during a routine geological survey. A brittle, leather-bound book filled with scrawled entries, cryptic symbols, and unsettlingly detailed drawings. The journal belonged to a soldier stationed here during the war, a man named Private Elias Thorne. His words spoke of growing unease, of whispers in the dark, and of a pervasive sense of dread that consumed him and his fellow soldiers. But more disturbingly, the journal mentioned the writing. Reports had surfaced in the nearby town, whispers of strange symbols appearing on walls, inside homes, even carved into trees. Symbols that matched those found in Thorne's journal. The locals were terrified. Superstition ran deep in these parts, and they spoke of ancient curses and restless spirits. I, Detective Harding, and my partner, Miller, were assigned to find a rational explanation. But the deeper we dug, the more elusive rationality became. Miller adjusted his glasses, his breath misting in the cool air. Charming, isn't it? Makes you wonder what they were so afraid of, besides the obvious, of course. He gestured around the bunker with his flashlight, illuminating damp patches and rusting equipment. The journal mentions experiments, I said, flipping through the photocopied pages. Experiments with sound, attempts to weaponize fear itself. It sounds like something out of a pulp novel, or a classified military project gone horribly wrong, Miller countered, a grim edge to his voice. The bunker was a labyrinth of interconnected rooms, each more claustrophobic than the last. We moved slowly, the silence punctuated only by the drip, drip, drip of water, a relentless metronome counting down to some unknown dread. In one room, we found what appeared to be a makeshift laboratory. Tables covered in rusted instruments, shattered glass vials, and tangled wires. The air here was particularly heavy, laden with a metallic tang that made my stomach churn. Act 2. Investigation Escalation. Days bled into nights as we painstakingly pieced together the puzzle. The journal became our Rosetta Stone, guiding us through the maze of Thorne's increasingly frantic entries. We learned that the sound experiments had something that resonated with the human psyche, amplifying fear, paranoia, and madness. Thorne wrote of his fellow soldiers succumbing to these effects, their sanity unraveling thread by thread. He wrote of them seeing things, hearing things, things that couldn't possibly be real. And then the writing began. The symbols, Thorne believed, were a manifestation of the amplified fear, a visual representation of the collective dread that had permeated the bunker. He thought they were a warning, a sign that something terrible had been unleashed. We examined the symbols found on the walls of the town. They were complex, geometric patterns, unnervingly similar to mandalas, but twisted, distorted, as if viewed through a lens of pure terror. Miller, a history buff, recognized some of them as ancient Sumerian sigils, symbols associated with summoning rituals and forgotten deities. This isn't just some military experiment gone wrong, he said, his face pale. This is older, much older. As we delved deeper, the strange events in the town escalated. People reported nightmares so vivid they felt real. Objects moved on their own. The whispers in the dark grew louder, more insistent. The writing became more frequent, appearing in increasingly bizarre and unsettling locations. One morning, we arrived at the bunker to find a new symbol etched into the heavy steel door. It was different from the others, a single, stylized eye staring directly at us. A chill snaked down my spine. This felt personal. Inside, the bunker felt colder, the darkness more oppressive. We found a previously undiscovered room hidden behind a false wall. In the center of the room, there was a circle drawn on the floor in what appeared to be dried blood. Around the circle were more of the Sumerian sigils. Thorn's journal lay open on the floor, the last entry scrawled in a shaky hand. It's here. It's always been here. The sound opened the door. The writing calls it forth. God help us all. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, vibrating through the floor and into our bones. The lights flickered and died, plunging us into absolute darkness. Act 3. Revelation. Climax. My heart hammered against my ribs. I fumbled for my flashlight, my hand shaking uncontrollably. Miller cursed softly beside me. The hum intensified, rising to a deafening crescendo. And then, a voice that seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere at once. A voice that whispered promises of power and knowledge, but dripped with malice and despair. "You seek the truth," the voice hissed, "but the truth will consume you." The writing began to appear on the walls of the room, glowing with an eerie phosphorescent light. The symbols writhed and pulsed as if alive. I felt a pressure building in my head, a suffocating weight of fear and dread. Miller screamed. I turned to see him clutching his head, his eyes wide with terror. "I see it! I see it!" he shrieked. I shone my flashlight on him, trying to focus through the swirling chaos. His pupils were dilated, his face contorted in a mask of pure horror. And then I saw it too, a fleeting glimpse of something impossibly vast and malevolent, something that existed beyond the boundaries of human comprehension. The voice laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the bunker. "Now you understand. There is no escape." I knew then that we were in over our heads. This wasn't just a mystery to be solved. This was a battle for our sanity, for our very souls. I grabbed Miller's arm, trying to pull him towards the exit, but he was frozen, transfixed by the horror he was witnessing. The writing intensified, forming a vortex of swirling symbols. The air crackled with energy. I knew that something was about to happen, something catastrophic. I yelled at Miller, desperate to break him free from his trance. "We have to go, now!" Just as I was about to drag him away, a figure emerged from the vortex. A shadowy, indistinct form, wreathed in darkness and radiating an aura of unimaginable power. It was the source of the voice, the entity that Thorn had unknowingly unleashed. Act 4. Aftermath. Reflection. I don't know how, but I managed to pull Miller away from the entity. We stumbled and scrambled through the bunker, fleeing for our lives. The entity pursued us, its presence a suffocating weight on our minds. We finally burst out of the bunker, gasping for air, our lungs burning. Behind us, the bunker pulsed with an unholy light. Then, with a deafening roar, it collapsed, burying itself under tons of earth and stone. Miller never fully recovered. He was committed to a mental institution shortly after our escape, forever haunted by the visions he saw in the bunker. I tried to rationalize what we experienced, to find a logical explanation. But deep down, I knew that what we encountered was beyond the realm of reason. The town was evacuated. The writing disappeared, as if it had never been there. But the memory of that place, of the entity, of the sheer terror I felt, remains burned into my mind. I never solved the mystery of the wartime bunker. Perhaps some mysteries are best left unsolved. Some doors are best left unopened. Because sometimes the truth is far more terrifying than the unknown. And sometimes the darkness stares back. The dusty journal sits locked in my office, a chilling reminder of the secrets that lie buried beneath the surface of reality, waiting to be unearthed. I vowed never to open it again. Some things are better left undisturbed, lost to the silent abyss of time. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed.